Hello, everyone. Welcome to the speech today. My name is Juliana, and I'm one of the volunteers of the Spiritist Society of Ireland. I've been in the group since 2011. Today, I'm going to talk about knowing yourself. I'm going to discuss more about this part, the question 919 of the Spirit's book. That it's it talks about know yourself, self-knowledge. So without further ado, let's gonna do our initial prayer. I'd like to ask everyone to sit comfortably. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, connect to the spiritual world, elevate your thoughts. Today I'd like to ask everyone that is in here and this to just take a moment, a few seconds, to not think about anything. And then you elevate your thoughts with your heart to be able to connect with the spiritual world, to feel this energy, to feel this vibration that's gonna invade all your soul. Feel this energy that brings happiness, that brings light to us. I'd like to ask the spiritual guardians of our group to guide in this speech. May their word be the wisdom of the words. I'd like to thank everyone for being here today, on this beautiful day. Hope it stays like this so everyone can enjoy afterwards. And so be it. Thank you very much for doing this initial prayer. So back to our speech, knowing yourself, a spiritual view. So today I'm going to talk. This talk I actually talked last year, I think September. So I'm just actually going a little bit more on the question 919 of the Spirit's book. It's the book 3 of the Divine or Natural Laws. And this is chapter 12. I'm going to talk a little bit more. So, knowing yourself. Allan Kardec asked the spirits this question. What is the most effective method for guaranteeing self-improvement and resisting the attraction of wrongdoing? When I say wrongdoing here, it's like our weakness, how wicked we can act sometimes. It's a human nature, we know that we are all bound to do mistakes. We are not perfect. But that's the thing. We are here to improve ourselves, to become morally perfect. So the answer was straight away. A philosopher of antiquity, once said, know thyself. Socrates was a wise man, He often said, I just know I know nothing, So that's a very profound, very simple and profound way to say, there's a lot more that I need to learn. We always learning. We always, need to this. We have this need to be always, it's always a process. It's not something like we're gonna conquer straight away. It's gonna conquering, through our experiences in life and in the many lives we do. So there's this passage of the book. It's not translated, so I've done a free translation here. It's called O Consolador. It's hard to do to come up with the a translation, so I didn't want to do this. So I put the Portuguese title, but that was psychographic by Chico Xavier by the Spirit Manual. Yeah. And it says this, as in the most ancient times of dead civilizations, we must reaffirm that the greatest need of the human creature is still that knowledge of yourself. And we're going to discuss here, why do we do that? How do we do that? And of course, I'm not going to give a recipe, because I'm on the same path of trying to learn about myself and to improve myself. So it's something I'm going to bring what the Spiritist brings to help us on this path. This is a very long path. It's through many incarnations, reincarnations that we do. We're going to learn, little by little. So knowing yourself, how easy is it? Not at all. But why do we do that? Why are we going to do that? That's a way to recognize a true spiritist, And I'm not saying here labeling as, we spiritists, but we can say a good person, to that can, and we can recognize by the moral transformation and by the effort we employ in order to dominate our bad instincts, our wicked instincts, our weakness. So it is, to be a spiritist, that is, you know that you're always trying to improve yourself, morally. And when I say morally, I don't say like in the times, I cannot sin, I cannot do this, do that, because God's gonna be angry. We're not talking about this. There was a time in history, in human evolution, that we needed this. We a little bit more mature. That's why we also on the planetary transition. We now are at the point that, yes, we know we have to work, because that's our purpose here, is to reach more perfection, is to dominate the weakness we have, the wicked feelings, actions we do. And this isn't small things, it's not about the sinning or the 10 commandments, and it's not just about that, it's about everything in our lives. It's the transformation we do with ourselves. This is something very important for us, when we know ourselves, when we are able to go deep on our dark side and to work on that, and be able to come up, renovated, it's really rewarding for everyone, It's also, I'm going to talk the way how this is actually related to happiness, how it's one of the things, when we work on our moral perfection, when we try, and knowing ourselves, it's one of them, how we can build our path to true happiness. Of course, that's not something that, you do, that's it, done. Oh, I'm a happy person, I'm a better person now. No, it's not. It's a process, and it's a cyclic process, We have to look at ourselves. We have to go through, we have to do a self-examination. We do reflection, we do introspection, where we go deep in ourselves, just us, Sometimes when it is something that's really traumatized or something, we have professional people that help us. Psychologists, they are very good in helping us, walking and knowing ourselves to overcome some trauma, some things that we pass in our lives. It's our life for everyone. It's not easy. Everyone's on your path, and there's some people that goes really hard times. So it's always good to ask for help. Don't do it on your own, because if you think we need help, you need help, it's better to get to the professionals as well. But then you think, how am I gonna do that? That's one of the questions as well. There's something, on the question, back to the question 919. The spirits also can, like, self-knowledge is the key to individual improvement. However, you may ask, and we do ask, how does one judge oneself? How can I judge myself if I'm human, bound to mistakes, subject to the illusions of arrogance, which dismiss and our flaws in our own eyes and make it possible to find excuses for everything. We do that. We are like this, we find, and then that's, and one of the things, if you're losing yourself, is to look at the person that you actually despise, Young, one of the important personalities for the psychologist, he said, we often reflect our frustrations, more or less in those words. I'm not quoting, but it's more or less, we reflect. But he talked on this part that we reflect our frustrations to the other. So that person we despise, we don't like it straight away. I don't like this person. When we know we always have someone like this, that person, there's a lot more to tell about ourselves than themselves. We do reflect on the others, and this is a way to excuse. I don't like to looking at my bad side, my dark side, but I'm gonna reflect on you what I find in myself and probably on that person as well. So one thing is also to look at that, and again, I'm not advertising for psychologists, but they do a good work. So, but then if you're when you are in doubt, and we always say, am I actually really, really, really working my wicked actions, affections, and passions? That is something very simple to do. Very, very, very simple. When you are in doubt regarding any of your actions, ask yourself what your judgment, remember this, ask yourself what judgment would be if it were done by another, if what you're doing was doing by another. What judgment would you do? Again, reflecting yourself on the others. If you would find cause for reproach in another, it cannot be less reprehensible when done by you, because God's justice is universal to all. So that's the very basic principle. Love your neighbor as yourself. Don't do to the other what you would like to, what you wouldn't like to do to yourselves. Put yourself in the other, on the shoes of other person. This is all things that helps us actually know ourselves, know things that we need to work on. And it's great, but it's not easy. It's not that because we have to do this in every single aspect. And I'm not talking here about the feeling of guilt for doing that, for doing something that wasn't good, it hurts another. In my life, I have done so much things that hurts myself, hurts the other, So it's not easy, and it's not gonna be just once, twice. You're gonna make this mistakes many times. That's why we have so many chances through reincarnation to actually, work on ourselves, get better. We always progress, even if it's just a little tiny bit, even if it's just a little tiny bit. We always going to progressing, through. And knowing ourselves is good, because when we know about our weakness, we are able to actually recognize when we're going to be acting, or we are able to avoid, we're able to, oh, wait, there's something, I've done this before, and the consequences wasn't good, wasn't what I expected. I hurt someone, I hurt myself, so I'm not gonna do that again, But this is not just once, it's like a training, and I'm gonna talk about as well. But just before talking about the training and everything, that's gonna talk about this part as well. This passage of the Bible is very, very interesting, because it talks about how you're gonna work on your weak sides, weakness. Sorry for my pronunciation. So it says like this: no one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch will pull away from the garment, making the tear worse. Neither do people pour new wine into old wine skins. If they do, the skins will burst, the wine will run out, and the skins will be ruined. No, pour new wine into new wine skins, and both are preserved. So this is something very profound, and you cannot just cover what is not good, with something that it's not good as well. Now you have to open up what it's not good has to say with not good. You have to open up, you have to carve, you have to go deep, you have to work on it, And then when this is renewed, or it becomes new one again, then you pour your good wine, when you make, when you make your the garment, when you put the piece, you don't put the piece of unshrunk cloth, on the old garment. You put a new one, because this is going to renew. It's going to help to renew. So it is very interesting. Jesus always talk about parables, and the parables of what makes sense to them, to people who lived in that time. So sometimes it's hard to bring to us, but this is like, it's talking about renewing ourselves. We have to renew with new things. We cannot keep going on the same path, and okay, I've done this wrong, I'm a terrible person, and I've sinned against God, I'm terrible, and this is not going to work. This is just putting in shrunk clothes on an old garment. It's not going, or trying to pour new wine on the old side. It's going to burst. It's not going to work. You need to recognize your dark side. We need to recognize our dark side. We need to work on that. We need to carve them down, and then renew them, bring something new. Bringing something new, it's ready to pour new wine. So it's very profound, and it's very good way to say, you have to work on yourself, because it's not gonna go on the path of moral perfection. And I'm gonna talk about this moral perfection. We talk about happiness, constant happiness. We're not talking about being morally or talking to the others, oh, I'm a moral person. No, it's nothing to do with that. We're talking about our path to happiness, constant happiness. And working on ourselves is just one of the things, So, but how do we do that? Like this, I know you're saying this, and I have to think about the other, putting on the shoes of the other, but it's not easy to do. It's not something we're gonna do always. It's true. We're not gonna do all the time, but we're gonna work on it. That's important to keep working. And another important thing is self-education. The question 917 of the Spiritist book. He says, proper education is the key to moral progress. When the art of training the moral nature of human beings is as easily understood as the art of training the intellect, a corrupt nature can be straightened out, just a crooked sapling. However, this practice demands a great deal of tact, experience, and profound observation. So it's not something that we're gonna do easily. No, it's never gonna be easy. It's our moral transformation. It's our, it's getting ourselves, transforming ourselves in a better version of ourselves, and that's not easy. That's really, really, really difficult. But education is the key. And when we say education, we have, I want to talk about the UNESCO 4 pillars of education, which it is very interesting. In the 90s, UNESCO came up with this 4 pillars of education, which would be, for human being to truly learn about things. And one, it's learn to know, learn to do, learn to be, and learn to convey, how I'm gonna say, to live with others. That's the 4, so that's 4 pillars that makes a proper education. Learning to know, it's what you're gonna read, what you're gonna instruct yourself. In the Spiritism, it's your readings, your book. Learning to do is your practice. How in practice what you put in practice, what you have learned. Learning to be, it's like, you put in practice what does apply to me. How am I being? You learn to know about yourself. And learn to live with others. How you're gonna put in practice with the others. How you're gonna live this. And again, I'm gonna get back to the planetary transition that we are in. And if you don't know, we as a Earth has everywhere on the universe, always, as we progress, everything progresses as well. We progress, our Earth progress, everything is in constant development. We have been for many, 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 many years on the trials and expiation. We are not there anymore. Trials and expiation is the part that we come here to learn, and most of the time is learned through suffering. That means, I'm not saying you're condemned or this is hell or anything. No, that's not what we're talking about here. But we have been suffering a lot because evil kind of prevail on Earth, and this is regarding to the moral evolution of human beings on Earth. So, but now we are on the planetary transition, where we're going to transition to a better world where evil is still evil, but does not prevail, which is regeneration, where we regenerate our self-beings. Again, planetary transition is a transformation. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something like, we are in Aquarius area. Yeah, let's go. Everyone loves. And no, it's not going to be like this. That's going to stop. It's going to be a lot of transformation. It will involve destruction to renew, but the destruction that's in nature, we know nothing destruct, everything's transformed. So things has to die to give life to other things, just like we learn ourselves, just like the Bible passage. We have some things have to be destroyed in ourselves in order for us to flourish, to become a better person, and that's our bad tendencies, that's our weakness, So why planetary transition? Because this is the moment of actually, this moment that you have to do that. You don't have choice anymore, or you do that, or you're not gonna kind of reincarnate here anymore, because if you're not doing, I'm talking about you, I'm talking about me. If we are not doing this, we are not in the same path and the same vibration as the earth is now at the moment. And it's a turbulence. It's not something peaceful. It's not something easy. It's going to be hard. And that's the importance of knowing yourself, knowing ourselves, getting, back to the, reflection, introspection, work on, go deep on things that we don't want to see, things that we actually reflect on the others, and work on that, so we become a better person, a better version of ourselves. It's always like this, we work ourselves to become better, because this will bring us happiness, and I'm going to explain why. So just to wrap up this part of the self-education, training is something. Now we go to school, we learn how to know, we learn how to do, but we have forgot to learn how to be, and we are forgetting to, we haven't worked as much learning to be and learning to live with others. This part school doesn't teach you, and it's not part of the school. This is life teaching us. We haven't done this much more, and we need to do this. We need to actually not, we have technology, and if you see through the history, we are on the most advanced technology we have nowadays, so we learn to know and learn to do, but we need to learn now to be and to live with others. So I don't believe this is just what we're passing now, this pandemic. This pandemic is actually it might be not, it's definitely not by chance. I don't know if this was, really, really God or something that we actually build up on this one, the way we deal with planet Earth, the way we pollute, it's so not gonna, but this pandemic's getting us two things that we have forgotten to do. We have to do that now because we're on a transition. Again, we are on the transition. We have to educate ourselves. We have to know ourselves to become better version of ourselves, because that's the demanding of the planet Earth at the moment. So this all leads to self-improvement, and I'm just gonna wrap up here this basic thing here, self-improvement. So it's a continuous process. It's never gonna end. Yeah, kind of, because we bring reincarnation over reincarnation, this process of learning. We learn things that, we become better person every day, every week, every year, every 10 years. Next incarnation, but we remember, we have to always work on the present, at the moment now. That's our moment. We work now, because what we do now, it's going to help us in the future. The past is past. We leave behind. It happens. We cannot be, blame. It's not going to get you anywhere if you keep blaming yourself for things you have done in the past. Again, dark things, past things, good, that's not good, has to be there. You don't walk, you don't put old things on top of old things. Just live there. You walk to get better, improve yourselves. But you don't get like this feeling, I'm guilty. This doesn't takes you anywhere, nowhere. So it's a continuous process of self-knowledge, modeling us progressively in the spiritual experience in every way of our existence. Is a transformation of the old self, the Bible passage, loaded with secular trends and errors. We know that we are here again because we were not as good as we should have been in past years. But this doesn't matter anymore. What matters is we come with our passions. We come to work on our passions, on our weak inclinations, We are loaded with secular trends and errors. In the new self, active in the implementation from the teachings of the divine, inside and outside. And remember, it's from you it's from us, from our inside to outside. This transformation of our old self, it's within. It starts with us, with ourselves. No one can do that for us, only us. Just like no one can change other people, the next one. No one. I cannot change my husband. I cannot change my kids. I can help them change. I can help them realize, but I'll never change. That's doesn't happen like this. This is our own work, our own process, and as long as it takes for we're gonna always have the chance. That's why we have so many reincarnation chances to go. It is the means of giving new directions to values that we already have and correct wickedness, whose roots we ignore or we are not motivated to change. This is when we actually, recognize, yeah, I do have those things that I'm lazy. I just want to leave there. I don't want to work on this one now, but eventually you need to work on our part, because this is God's purpose for everyone in the universe. We always progress. And one of the laws that they work the law of progress. And self-improvement is acquisition of self-awareness, to learn to be, to exist, to be realized as divine creature that we are, And it's self-awareness. It's a very good thing when and it's very rewarding when you are able to recognize something that that's not good, and that's self-awareness. I know that's it. I don't want to work on that part of myself, that I just leave. But then you recognize, yeah, it's something I don't want to work, but I know I have to do it. And then you go and do it. Again, that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be something like, yeah, I've done, yeah, woohoo. No, it's level after level. And then sometimes you do a mistake, you have to go back, just like in a video game. You go level after level, and then, but when you do a little mistake again, you have to go back, and then you go, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's always a cyclic. It's not something like we go, and it's not linear as well. It's ups, down, sides, sharp curves, and it's never going to be something like easy. We know that. But the good thing is we can, if we have this self-awareness that we have to do that we want to do that, it's your will. That's a great, that's already a starting point. Now, again, you can ask, but how can I, keep working this, and how I'm going to do it every day? This is, of course, we don't need to be stressed about this. It's not something we're going to be doing forever, all the time, not forever, but all the time. And we don't need to get stressed about this. What we need is to try to go, on your own path, on our own way, and be true to ourselves. One of the things that St. Augustine saying what he actually did on the path of self-improvement or self-knowledge, And it's still on the question 919, and it's that part, So do as I said. That's a St. Augustine talking. At the end of each day, I would assess my conscience, review everything that I have done, and I would ask myself whether I had failed in some duty where someone might have reason to complain of me. It was thus that I arrived at knowing myself and seeing what there was in me that needed to be reformed. If you review all your actions of the day every evening, asking yourself whether you have good or bad, and praying for enlightenment from God and your guardian angel, you would acquire great strength for self-improvement. It's something when you do that, you go every evening, and I'm not. We have to do it. It's good, but I don't do that every day. But I do that. I go over and the things that my conscience says, yeah, that thing doesn't. I go over, what did it do? What impact? I go over and think what impact, and then on that person or on that, whatever I have done, And it's good when you pray for enlightenment, you actually put in yourself. It's kind of a meditation that you get in yourself, help from the cosmos, from God, to actually give you strength to change this behavior, And go over again, This is a strength for self-improvement. So review what you may have done, first against God, second against your neighbor, and lastly against yourself, like Jesus taught you. The reason he said, love God above all, it's not a submission that, angry God will do whatever things. No, there is laws, there is the divine laws, the nature laws that we encounter in the universe, so we respect that. So just say, yes, I love God because I respect this. Respect there is, laws, nature law that preserve life everywhere, and against your neighbor, because I don't live on my own, unless I'm on the monks that actually choose to isolate themselves and stay praying. No, I live in society. I live in a community. I live with, family, so I need also to reveal that, and ask again myself, because, I cannot do everything this if I hurt myself, if I still not loving myself. And that's why we say you need to love yourself to be even. This love, it's not a pride love, or I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. This is not love. This is pride. That's different. Love, it's much more than that. Love is like it's unconditional. So when you love yourself so that much, in that deep, that unconditionally, you're gonna be able to love the neighbor, your neighbor, and you're gonna respect the laws. That's all way, And just to wrap up this part, the importance of love on this, the importance of love on this. It's because, they teach us God, it's all love, because love transforms things. With love, you are able, to recognize things that are not good in yourself. With love, you're able to forgive those things. And with love, you are able to transform and to make yourself a better person, better version of yourself. Even if that's just, that version 2.234, 3.67 or something, even if it's just a little bit version. But it is something, and it is always something to be, proud of ourselves. Again, not proud in the way that I'm better than everyone, proud of the achievement that you became better than you were before, So that is more or less. Of course, again, I'm not saying that's easy. One of the things Now, I'd like just to finish here with this part, about the question 621. Where is God's law written? And the answer is simple. In the conscience. We all have laws, God's law in us. Of course, in many times we had, prophets coming saying, don't do this, just a kind of reminding the 10 Commandments, Jesus, Muhammad, any other prophets coming, Jesus, it's for us the most important because it's the first son, so, but, I don't want to be like, oh, we are the only ones, but we have many prophets, many people coming and talking to us and remembering, it's in our conscience, don't do that. And what best way to know ourselves when we are able to let this conscience speak, and say, yeah, look, could be that voice or that thing. Oh no, there's something wrong here. It's always a gray area. It's not something clear as the 10 Commandments. No, it's not. It's much more transcendent than that one. And but why do we do this? Why God wants us to be more perfect? I'm okay like this. Because inside yourself, in your conscience, you're not fully happy. When we are able to fully, live with this, like with this, love God above all, love your neighbor as yourself. When we are really, really, truly living with that, our conscience is clear because we know we haven't hurt anyone, we haven't broken any laws that will break the vibration of the cosmos, the way the chaos that the cosmos work. Every little thing that we do in physics, we learn that for every action there's a reaction equal and contrary. So every little thing we do, there's always a consequence. There's always action and reaction. So the God laws is not just to tell you you're a bad person. No, it's actually to make the harmony of this chaos that's the universe. We're not just me. So when we are able to understand and to live with that, then we find happiness. Happiness, it's never going to be on things you own, but what you conquered. Owning objects, owning things doesn't bring you happiness. We know that. Everyone knows that. But when you have a clear conscience that you actually have done your best, even if your best it's not the best for an angel, for example, someone morally perfect, which we are not, and we are far away from that yet, even that, it brings you happiness, that you help someone, that you were able to live in a way that you actually live in harmony with the universe. This is free conscience, and this is happiness. Happiness, again, it's never going to be something you own. That one brings you a moment of happiness, not saying I love, go shopping and buy this or buy that, it's nice, but I know I have this conscience that, this is momentary. As soon as the package arrives, I open, oh, that's nice, that's it. Just like a toy, a child will never play with that toy forever. It's happy, it's get it, but yeah, for a moment I'll leave there. I don't need that anymore. So this is what I wanted to say. I thank you for coming here today, for being here with us in this nice weather. It's really nice out there. I hope it keeps a little bit so everyone can enjoy a little bit of outside with social distancing, wearing masks, and with your 5 kilometers of, So, but go out there and live the life, because that's today we've been blessed with a very nice sun. Although it's still cold, but it's nice. We know we live in Ireland. Every time they have sun, it's a blessing. It's like a blooming. It's like every time we, especially at this time, springtime. It's and so. And that's for me. Now I'm going to just talk about the bibliography quickly. So I took a passage from the whole Bible, the Gospel according to Spiritist, Be Perfect, and I talk about the moral laws, especially on chapter 12, Moral Perfection, Self-Knowledge, but I took a little bit of the divine or natural laws. If you want to read more, the Spirit's book, it's a great book to actually get to know more about how things work on Earth and in universe. It's very interesting. Just going to do our final prayer. If you'd like to sit comfortably and close your eyes, elevate your thoughts, feel that vibration, this energy that it's flowing because you yourself, you have made this plan to keep up with the mission of getting a better version of ourselves, and with the serenity of knowing that this is a long process, ongoing process. I would like to bless everyone and to thank everyone for being here today, to thank our spiritual guardians for the group, the spirituality who have been here, blessing each one of us. And so be it. Thank you very much. Oh, forgot one thing. Our activities. Just we have every Sunday the public meeting at 11:15. It's a Facebook Live. We have talk show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:15, and we have the study group on Wednesday via Zoom meeting. If you want to participate, the Zoom meeting, the study group, it's open to everyone. If you want to participate, you can send an email to Spiritist Ireland, or you can ask on our Facebook page. We send this link. It's open to everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this speech today, and may God bless you and have a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye.